Okay, we are live, and today I'm going to talk just a little bit about why psychological and psychiatric terminology mostly sucks. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that it's not. Uh, Make sure my mic's working. Nope, we want. What the hell? Okay, make sure we got the mic attached. There we go. Okay. Had a little mic issue going on there. So hopefully you can hear me fine. If not, just let me know in the chat. But anyway, what I wanted to discuss today was about why psychological terminology, how that keeps you confused, and why it's not really that useful to make a huge study out of all the psychological and psychiatric terminology. Now, of course, they become common terms, so we got to deal with them. Some of the most basic ones are like anxiety and depression. So I've covered this a lot before about why I don't believe anxiety exists. So the issue there is that once you learned to categorize your direct bodily experience, bodily and mental experience, into a specific diagnostic category like anxiety or like depression, you tend to then close off to the nuances of the physical experience and then look for ways to avoid what you've now labeled as anxiety. So it's like a file cabinet or a folder on your computer full of thousands of different physical experiences that then get reduced down to this one label, anxiety, which generally means an unpleasant physical and mental experience. But to actually overcome anxiety and to raise your anxiety tolerance, we kind of you need to relearn how to observe your body and your mind directly without abstractions, without terminology, and then to use basic terms to express what it is you're experiencing. So rather than, oh, I'm just feeling so much anxiety right now, instead you notice, okay, my throat feels tensed up, my heart's beating like crazy, my hands are cold or sweaty, my shoulders are tensed up or rolled forward, the eyes feel twitchy. Okay, these are just some basic examples. Once you have that, then you can actually utilize different approaches to dealing with that experience, that level of intensity. Whether that be, if the mind is racing, to sit still with eyes closed and observe the racing of the mind, okay? Or to do the basic radical undoing face stretches, okay? Or to do some specific eye exercises in the mirror, which we teach in the Eyes and Face Undoing course, or if you work with me privately, then we go through, find out what you actually mean when you say the word anxiety, or if you say the word depression, or if you say the word burnout. What we're actually looking for are basic descriptive terms of your experience in your body and less so in your mind. The mind, the idea is just to observe it, get into position where you can observe clearly the goings on of the mind, but without identifying with those contents. Okay, so observing the flow of what's going on in the mind, but not getting identified or involved in the contents that you see going past. Again, very simple daily thing you can do is what I call the silent presence. Other people have put it out there in different names and slightly different forms, like Jesse Lee Peterson puts out silent prayer. He's got a few different versions of it. You can look to other teachers. I know Israel Regardi put one out that was the practice of the presence of God. Also decent. trying to think of a few others, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. But the one I put out is Command Z, silent presence, or I've also called it the fake meditation. But essentially, you're just sitting still when you wake up in the morning, listening to the sounds, observing the contents of the mind, and sitting there with an awareness of the body. And then if you drift away, you just observe that you drifted away and continue until it feels like the right time. So anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour. Do the same thing before bed at night, and that's what you do with the contents of the mind. That's going to slowly but surely get your identity off of the contents of your mind and off of the feelings that are flowing through the body, the emotions, and then put your identity where it belongs, on the observer. So you're the observer of what's going on rather than getting involved in all the judgments and abstractions in the mind. Then, when we go through and actually look deeper, dig deeper under what you're calling anxiety or depression or whatever else is going on in your life, we find there's a bodily root to most of these things. And to undo that behavioral issue or whatever it is you're wanting to change or experience differently in your life, we unpack the way that you're using those psychological terms. So instead of saying, I feel depressed, we actually say, what is going on? Okay, I can't get out of bed, or I feel this way, I feel that way. But you describe what's going on for you in your body. And then we address that with radical undoing exercises. So if it's a neck issue, then we've got an exercise for that. Ultra slow neck turns done in a specific way with specific kind of breathing. Or, like I said before, a bunch of eye exercises if you're feeling the experience mostly in the eyes. And then so on. And then the basic radical undoing ah breathing, we call it the regular ah breath. That slowly but surely starts to undo all kinds of chronic tensions that are there in the body. And as you undo the chronic tensions via the body, the afflictions that you're currently experiencing in the mind tend to dissolve on their own. Okay, they tend to dissolve on their own. So making a huge study of psychological terminology and diagnostics tends to just get people lost. And you end up deferring away from your direct physical experience and then using those terms to describe whatever you initially experienced that someone else told you to label anxiety. So that's where those terms get all confused. And then the more and more diagnoses and diagnostic terms that you learn, then you'll tend to be hypnotized into categorizing all of your own experiences into one or more of those personality disorders or psychological terms. So we want to get away from those terms and those categories and those labels, and then get back home to the body and to a clear observer mindset where you can just observe what's actually going on without need for a bunch of categorization systems. Okay, just look at what's actually going on in the body and in the mind, and then there are always simple ways you can use to deal with that. And around here we talk about overcoming anxiety, overcoming depression, not just coping with it, overcoming anger, overcoming your overreactions to life. Okay, so that's just a little bit. And then the New Age terminology thing, this is another issue when people start talking about chakras and Kundalini and Tantra and all these buzzwords from the East. You know, everybody wants to learn about this stuff, mainly because it sounds mystical, sounds like something that you haven't experienced before, or magical or whatever. But again, it's basically putting a transparency or an overlay onto reality. So you're already removed from reality if you're not at home in the body, and understanding what it means to observe the contents of the mind rather than be completely identified and wrapped up in them. You know, for this I use the two worlds model. There's the world of actuality, a physical and sensory direct experience, and then there's the world of abstractions and ideas. Okay, and if you're completely locked into that world of abstractions and ideas, then you've almost lost access to the world of actuality. That's where you see people responding to everything like it's a survival threat, any kind of problems that they face in life. have a huge overreaction and then create more problems and more problems and more problems from there. When you're actually out of the world of abstraction and the world of analysis and the world of words, basically, and at home in the body, then you can make use of the words, make use of the concepts, make use of the analytical tools, rules of logic, whatever you want, but not being completely identified with them to the exclusion of experiencing your day-to-day life. So that's why we don't use any mystical terminology here at Command Z and with the Radical Undoing work. We just use basic body terms, okay, basic bodily terms. We might say something like life force to indicate the movement of sensation and a sense of flow of energy in the body. I don't even like to use the word energy because people get all lost, all mystified by it. But let's just say I use the term life force. That might be the most mystical term we use around Command Z. Anyway, I'd like to bring folks on and just have a discussion about anxiety and stuff, and then see if you have something specific or some issue or burnout or motivation issue or whatever it is that you have going on. Then we can do a couple exercises here on the stream. So I'm going to paste the, I'm going to cut and paste. How do I invite? We'll go invite. And it's getting kind of late here. It's almost midnight Croatia time, so I don't know how long I'll stay on, but I'm going to post this in. If you're watching, you should jump on live with me. Let's see if somebody jumps on. You should be able to follow the simple directions using the browser when you click the link. So if you want to jump on with me, that'd be great, and we'll talk a little bit about whatever's going on for you. If there's any questions you have for me about the Radical Undoing stuff, if you got any issues going on in your life, well, let's see if we can line them up with a couple simple body movements that should help you flow through them a little more easily. The Command Z thing, there's the body, so coming home to the body. There's also conceptual kind of experiments, cognitive experiments, adventures in the world, and then some written exercises as well. So you got the body, the breathing, the movements, okay? Then you've got cognitive experiments. So this is to affect some kind of perspective shifts, or at least give you access to various different perspectives which you may not have considered before. After experiencing those kind of cognitive shifts or perspective shifts, you can never go back to not having experienced it, okay? So if you suddenly one day realize that there's this really simple way to overcome stage fright, okay, or speaking in public speaking kind of stuff, you'll never go back to not knowing about that. So that's why we have cognitive experiments. And then the adventures in the world, where you actually go out and see if things have become different in your behavior and in your life. A bunch of different ways of doing that. Put yourself to the test, See if all this Radical Undoing body and breath work has made you a different person, has changed your character somehow, has made you more of who you really are, or made you less of the false, scripted, canned, tense show that you were, or character that you were historically putting on, I want you to be just fresh and light and relaxed and alert and able to flow through life in that way as you were created to do, okay? So if you want to jump on, that's great. If not, I think I was going to play a song or two. There's one I just remembered today that I really like. Let's see if I can do it. Let me know if this is too loud. I'm using the same mic for everything at the moment. So, and if I see somebody who wants to jump on, just go ahead, click the link, and we'll see you live. And if you're on Facebook, it looks like the comments don't post there the same way. So if you are on Facebook, just go over to the youtube.com/Radical Undoing. You'll see the link there. There's the church bells ringing midnight. So let's see. have gone. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles, 100 miles. You can hear the whistle blow 100 miles. I am one, I am two, I am three, I am four, I am 500 miles away from home, away from home, away from home, away from home, away from home. I'm 500 miles away from home. Got no shirt on my back, got no penny to my name. No, I can't go back home this away, this away, this away, this away, this away. No, I can't go back home this away. That's an old one. It's nice. Let's see if there was some other simple song I wanted to do. Let's see differently for this guitar. Okay, here we go. It's gigantic. All right. When the birds are sleeping, that's when the trees sing. Left your winter clothes and your teeth marks in my skin. Darling, please show your teeth. Just one more dance to help me sleep. Owl girl, cold water eyes, fill the past with friendly nights. Human skin can be hard to live in. You'll feel better in wash your hands in the lake. Swim, you've got a heart to awake. Trails lost in the snow make way for winter's eerie glow. And that black clock in your bedroom, I hope you'll climb it soon. Your boat tied to a tree, I hope you'll find the sea. Oh, throw me a dream, please. asleep for such a long time, such a long time. Sing myself awake, watch the branches break. No one could ever take your place. Sing, wash your face in the wind. Swim, you've got a diamond under your skin. Try this other one and singing low like this is different. Do one more and I'm out of here. I'd like to get more of you folks on. I might have to schedule somebody, but yeah, if you're watching, you should jump on. So let's do one more and then I'm gonna go for now. So let's go. Let's do. I always do this one really high. Let's try it low. Now that I feel, that I feel. Now let's try it again. Now that I feel into your arms. You know what? Kind of like the capo for that. Watching me fumble it. Now that I fell into your arms, my only lover, give out to give in. I search for. You know what? I'm gonna call it. Getting tired. I'll come back. You deserve better. I will come back and bring the capo next time and play you a beautiful song. So have fun. Think about that, the psych terminology thing. We'll go deeper into that later, but I'd like to do it in discussion. Yeah, so that's about it for right now. So we'll go deeper and do some other stuff. Soon I'm going to be re-releasing the old Command Z, Radical Undoing, Eyes and Face course and the rest of the body segments courses in an all-new course structure in the Summerland Academy for Radical Undoing. But more on that. And also, if you're not on the email list, you should go to radicalundoing.com and get yourself signed up. That's where I'm going to be dropping most of the goodies and daily emails and whatnot about all these topics. But yeah. Nice little tired stream tonight, but I want to jump on, see how you guys are doing. So, see you again, most likely tomorrow. Enjoy.